Hello, how do I fill out Form 941 if no wages were paid in 2025 during quarter 1? You can fill out Form 941, print it out, sign it, and mail it. So to do so, you'll go to IRS website. You can just type Form 941 and search it, and you download the form, you download the instructions, and then you save them. So we have the form open, and then we have the instructions. So it's good to go through the instructions, read it, and highlight things that you find relevant to your case and save it. That way later you can reference it if you need an information from it. So it's good to save the instructions and read through it. If you are filling out a form, you might want to know a little bit about how to complete it, especially things that are relevant to you. And when you are filling it out, if there is a line that is not clear enough for you, you can locate that section in the instruction and read that section. So Form 941 2025 Employer Quarterly Federal Tax Return. It is a quarterly federal tax return. Therefore, you'll file it every quarter for your business if you are required to file it for your business, whether you pay wages or not. If you didn't pay wages, you'll just file a $0 tax return. So for quarter 1 is January, February, March, and is due by April 30th. So you will check the first quarter that you are filing for. So you will file one per quarter, either mail a paper or file online, but only one. You mail in or e-file one return. If you e-file, you don't mail a paper return. So only one per quarter, and you will need to file all of them unless you are a seasonal employer, and there is a box on the sheet that you will check if you are a seasonal employer. And in that case, you don't need to file all of them, but each time you file, you will check the quarter that return is for, and then you will check that seasonal employer box as well. That way IRS may not expect a return from you every quarter, just in case you didn't have employees during that quarter. So on the form page 1, you will enter your business identification number, so EIN number. It'll go on the top box, and here I can just put some things there. You'll enter your business name, not the DBA, the business name. So, and here we can just put LIBC. And the trade name, if you have a trade name, you will enter it like your DBA. And there are instructions on the form as well to explain it. You just want to make sure the name of the business that you enter on the EIN application form, you use that same exact name for your business name. Name is your business legal name, and then you'll have trade name. Here we can just put Nina Soap as an example. And address, you'll put your business address. You'll put the city that your business is located in, the state, and the zip code. So Form 941 Part 1. Number of employees who receive wages, tips, or other compensation for the pay period, including May 12 quarter 1 and like all the way to March 12th, quarter one. So in this case that you didn't pay wages is going to be zero. So because you are filing a zero tax return, it's good to know where you will put those zeros and where you need to leave blank. And for that reason, it's good to we go to the instructions and locate that section. And let me guess it here. Okay, so leave any blank leave blank any data field except line 1, 2, and 12 with a value of 0. So we'll go back and we will enter 0 there. So line 2, tips, wages, or other compensation. So they say if a line is $0, you leave a blank except line 1, 2, and 12. So federal income tax withheld. Since you didn't pay wages, you didn't withhold any federal income tax on those wages for the quarter. So we leave line 3 blank. If no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security or Medicare, check that box, leave line 5 blank, and go to line 6. So total tax before adjustment, you add line 3, 5, E, and 5F. And since line 3 and line 5 are blank, that means line 6 will be 0. And we can leave that blank as well. So current quarter adjustment 1, 2, and 12. Current quarter adjustment for fraction of cents, we leave a blank because there is nothing to adjust here. Line A, current quarter adjustment for sick pay, we leave a blank. Line 9, current quarter adjustment for tips and group term life insurance, we leave a blank. Line 10, total tax after adjustment, which is line 6 added all the way to line 9, is going to be 0, so we leave a blank. Line 11, qualified small business payroll tax credit, we leave a blank. Line 12, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit, is line 10, total tax adjustment minus line 11 credits is going to give you 0. So here, because they say now to leave a blank, we will put 0, 0 there, and we'll enter the cents area. So when we come back, they say not to round. Don't round entries to whole dollar. Always show an amount for cents, even if it's 0. So for that reason, we are going to put 0, 0 for the cents section and have 0 for the dollar section of it. So line 13, total deposit for this quarter. So if you didn't make any deposit during the quarter, you leave a blank. Line 14, that was line 13. So line 14, balance due. If line 12 is more than line 13, you enter the difference. In this case, it is now. The total tax is 0, the total deposit is 0. You don't owe any tax on line 14. IRS does not owe you any refund on line 15 either. So line 12 minus line 13, if it's positive, that means you owe tax. It'll go on line 14. Line 12 minus line 13, if it's negative number, it'll go on line 15. That means you are due a refund. But in this case that you didn't owe, you didn't pay any wages, you didn't have any tax, and if you didn't make any deposit then of payroll tax deposit, then line 12 is 0, line 13 is blank, line 14 will remain blank, line 15 will remain blank, and there is nothing here to check either, since you are not expecting a refund. So that part, page 1 is done. We'll go to form 941, page 2. So it's important you enter your business legal name, you enter your employer identification number the way you have it on the first page. Part 2, line 16. So line 12 on your return is less than 2,500, or line 12 on the return for the prior quarter was less than 2,500, and you didn't incur $100,000 next day deposit obligation, and is what we are going to check in this case. Because your line 12 total tax is 0, is less than 2,500, therefore we'll check line 12, and we'll check the first box of line 16. And in that case, if, let me see here, if line 12 for the prior is less than 2,500, okay, so we'll check that first box, we'll leave the other 2 boxes, and then we will go to part 3. So tell us about your business. If your business has closed or stopped paying wages, you check that box, otherwise you leave it, and then you'll enter the date the business was closed. Also, you'll attach a statement, and they have instructions related to that as well. Let's see. If your business is closed, that it'll be good you read through the session. So if the business is closed, there will be an attachment, and that attachment will have your business name, your employer identification number, and the section of form 941 that the attachment is for, which is going to be for that line 17. And then you will show the name of the person that is going to keep the payroll record, the business financial record, the name, the address, and things like that. So you'll have those on the attachment, which you'll add to the form 941 before you mail it in. So, and they have more information on that as well. If the business has been, if there is a merge or a transfer, so, or if you sell the business. So when let's see, if the business change name, it will be considered a transfer. So changing from one form of business to another, such as a sole proprietor to a partnership or a corporation, is considered a transfer. So you just read this section if any of that is related to your business. Otherwise, if you have not hired an employee yet, you don't check this box. It's because you do not have employee. You just file this on a quarterly basis, and at some point IRS might require you file the annual form 1, which is 944, and it's filed only once, and is due by January 31st, and it's for the whole year. But until then, if you are required to file the quarterly form 941, you file it. You just file a $0 tax return. So if you are a seasonal employer, you will check that box 18. And again, they have instructions on seasonality as well, and I think we will find more on that. Let's see if I go a little bit down. And you'll be able to read more about it. So if you're a seasonal employer, that means you hire some part of the year, you can just read it. You will check that box, but you'll have to check the quarter you are filing for when you are filing the return, and then you check that box each time to let IRS know that you are filing. You are not going to be filing every quarter. Like for the quarters that you don't have employees, you are not going to be filing it. So, but yeah, and otherwise you just leave that boss alone as well. Part 4, may we speak with a third designee? Usually I just like to check this now, but if you want to check yes, then you'll add the person's name and phone number and a pin. If you want IRS to just address any question they might have with you, the business owner, you just check no. Part 5, so who must sign this form? So if you are a sole proprietor, that will be you. If you are an LLC, tasked as an S corp, that will be the president, the vice president, or any other officer of the business. If you are an LLC, multiple member LLC, you're any partner that is a member that has an that is an eligible of the business, pretty much how the business is functioning, can sign the documents. So you'll print the document, you will review it, and then you'll print first. Before you print it, you'll put your name, and here we can just put a name here. You'll put the title, and then you'll put the phone number. I'm just putting an example there. So, and then you print it out. So when you print, in fact, you will save it, you print it out, you review it, and then you sign your date, and then you make a copy for your business, and you mail the original one. So if you are filing it for a client and you are getting paid for it, you are getting paid for it. Now if you are filing for your own business, so if you are filing it and you are getting paid for it, then you'll put that you are a pay preparer. So you'll put your name and your business name, address, city, state, your PTN, your preparer, tax identification number, and your business EIN number, phone, zip code, and if you are self-employed, you check that, but otherwise you leave it alone. So when you print the return out, you sign your dates, you'll make one copy for your practice to keep in record. You make 2 copies for the client, one for the client to mail, one for the client to keep for a copy for his or her business record. And if you are the one mailing it for the client, then you give 1 copy to the client for business record filing, and you keep 1 for your practice, and then you mail 1 to IRS on your client's behalf. Because this is a zero tax return, you do not need to file the voucher, and therefore you do not even print this last sheet out. That is a voucher if you are making a payment with the return. For a zero tax return, you only need page 1 and page 2, because you are filing a zero tax return and you do not owe any tax, payroll tax. Therefore, page 1 and page 2, you review, you complete, you review, you print it out, you sign, you make copy, and you keep 1 copy for your business, and you mail 1 to IRS. Since you are going to mail it, where do you need to mail this form 941 for 2025? So let's go back up a little bit again. To instruction for form 941 2025, page 7. So you go to page 7, and what you'll notice it is you first need to locate your state. So when you locate your state, in this example is Iowa, you are going to look at the next 2 columns, the second and the third column. The first column is the states. So the second column, the third column, since you are filing a zero tax return, you are going to mail the return without a payment. That's why the form 941 voucher is not completed. The last page is not completed and it's not printed out. So it's going to be without a payment. So you look at that column and you for the line that for the address that correspond to the line where your state is located, is that address you are going to write on the envelope, and you mail it to that. You mail your form 941 2025 quarter 1 to IRS. That address you mail it via USPS certified mail, so that you can have a tracking that you can track online to know that it got receive. And then you file the receipt of mailing it with the copy of the form 941. You attach them together and file it for your business record. But that is how you will file form 941 for form for quarter 1. And the form will tell you when those are due as well on page 5, and you'll be able to read through it. And just make sure you file the form by its due date for the quarter you are filing for. Thank you. We thank you very much for watching our videos. We thank you very much for all your comments, and we thank you very much you all that subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiavi Liberman, producer of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, and inasoap.com, our blog. On our channel and on our blog, we share different ways to save money and different ways to make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. And filing your own business tax return, especially at the beginning of at the beginning of your business, is one way to keep your business expenses low, especially when your business is not generating a lot of revenue yet. And by the time it's generating a lot of revenue, you can delegate that task. You have mastered how to record those financial data throughout the year to be able to ask a tax preparer to file the return for you and give them the right data that they can use to file the return on your behalf, because you have to remember it is your business. Therefore, you are responsible for the numbers that will be submitted to IRS on your behalf. Knowing what it takes allows you to know how to track those things throughout the year. Important information to track, even including your business legal name, and important document to file, to keep, not to toss away, to be able to access when you need it. So thank you so much for your time. I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax lawyer, so our tax tutorials are for educational and entertainment purpose only. Use the information at your own discretion. Thank you.